In this episode, we look at social engineering indicators, which are the warning signs that someone may be trying to manipulate you instead of attack technology directly. Social engineering works because people naturally want to respond quickly, be helpful, follow authority, and avoid trouble. An attacker takes those normal instincts and turns them into pressure. You may receive a message that looks urgent, a phone call that sounds official, or a video that seems convincing, but the real goal is often the same. The attacker wants you to click, reply, approve, pay, share, download, scan, or sign in before you have time to think. That is why recognizing indicators matters so much. You are not trying to memorize every scam in the world. You are learning how these attacks feel, what patterns they share, and how to slow the moment down before trust is misused. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is part of our companion study series. The first book is a detailed study guide that explains the exam and helps you prepare for it with confidence. The second is a Kindle-only ebook with 1,000 flashcards you can use on your mobile device or Kindle for quick review. You can find both at Cyber.Me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. Phishing is the broad starting point for many social engineering attacks. It usually means a deceptive message that tries to trick you into giving away information, opening something unsafe, or taking an action that helps the attacker. The message may arrive through email, chat, a collaboration platform, or another communication channel. It might pretend to come from a bank, delivery company, cloud service, manager, school, government office, or technical support team. The indicator is not always bad spelling or obvious weirdness. Many phishing messages look polished now, and some are copied from real business templates. You should pay attention to the request itself. A message that pushes urgency, asks for credentials, threatens account closure, changes payment instructions, or tells you to ignore normal procedures deserves a pause. The more the message tries to make you act emotionally, the more carefully you should inspect it. Spear phishing is more targeted than ordinary phishing. Instead of sending the same message to a large number of people, the attacker shapes the message for a specific person, role, department, or organization. You might receive an email that mentions your job title, a real project, a recent meeting, or a person you actually know. That personal detail is meant to lower your guard. The message feels familiar because part of it is true, but the requested action is still dangerous. A spear phishing message may ask you to review a shared document, approve an invoice, reset a password, or send a file. The indicator is often a mismatch between believable context and unusual behavior. If a coworker suddenly asks for sensitive information in a new way, from a new address, with unusual urgency, the personal details should not be enough to earn trust. Smishing is phishing through short message service, SMS, texts, or similar mobile messages. The small screen makes these attacks effective because you may only see a short preview, a sender name, and a link that is hard to inspect. A smishing message might claim that a package cannot be delivered, a bank account has been locked, a toll payment is overdue, or a job application needs immediate confirmation. The message often gives you a link and a reason to act right away. The attacker is counting on the fact that you may be distracted, moving between tasks, or using your phone quickly. Strong indicators include unexpected payment demands, shortened links, urgent account warnings, requests for verification codes, and messages that arrive outside the normal channel for that organization. A real service may send texts, but a text alone should not become proof that the request is safe. Vishing is voice phishing, where the attacker uses a phone call or voice message to manipulate you. The voice can make the attack feel more personal and more urgent than email. A caller may pretend to be from a fraud department, help desk, law office, vendor, or government agency. The attacker may sound calm, professional, irritated, or helpful, depending on what reaction they want from you. They may already know your name, your company, or part of your account information. That does not prove the call is legitimate, because personal details can come from public sources, data breaches, or previous interactions. Watch for pressure to stay on the line, refusal to let you call back through an official number, requests for passwords or verification codes, and instructions to install remote access software. A real support process should not require you to surrender control just because someone sounds confident. Whaling is a targeted attack aimed at a senior person or someone with major authority, such as a chief executive officer, CEO, chief financial officer, CFO, executive assistant, senior manager, or high-value system owner. The term whale points to the size of the target. These attacks often focus on money movement, legal matters, confidential documents, mergers, payroll changes, or urgent executive decisions. A whaling message may appear to come from another executive, a lawyer, a board member, or a trusted vendor. It may use a serious tone and suggest that the matter is sensitive. The indicator is often authority pressure combined with secrecy. If a message tells you to process a payment quickly, bypass approval, keep the matter quiet, or use a personal communication channel, the risk rises sharply. Seniority does not make a request safe, and confidentiality should never erase verification. Quishing is phishing that uses a quick response, QR, code. Instead of asking you to click a visible link, the attacker asks you to scan a QR code with your phone. That code may appear in an email, poster, flyer, parking notice, restaurant menu, package insert, or fake sign near a building entrance. The danger is that the destination is hidden until after the scan, and people often treat QR codes as convenient shortcuts. A quishing attack may send you to a fake sign-in page, a payment page, or a site that tries to collect information. Indicators include unexpected QR codes tied to account recovery, payment, security alerts, or urgent document access. Be especially cautious when a QR code moves you from a managed work device to a personal phone, because that can bypass some workplace protections. Convenience is useful, but it should not replace careful checking. Impersonation sits underneath many of these attacks. The attacker pretends to be someone or something you trust, and the communication channel is only the delivery method. Impersonation can involve a manager, coworker, vendor, customer, recruiter, technician, auditor, delivery driver, bank representative, or family member. The attacker may copy a signature block, profile photo, writing style, caller name, or business process. The goal is to borrow trust that already exists. The strongest indicator is a request that does not fit the relationship. A vendor asking for a routine update may be normal, but a vendor suddenly changing bank details right before payment is not normal. A manager asking about a project may be normal, but a manager asking you to buy gift cards or send credentials is not normal. Trust the relationship enough to verify through a separate known channel, not enough to skip verification. Deepfakes add another layer because they can manipulate audio, images, or video to make a person appear to say or do something they did not actually say or do. Artificial intelligence, AI, can be used to create a voice that sounds like an executive, a video that resembles a coworker, or an image that appears to prove a false situation. Deepfakes are especially dangerous when they combine emotional pressure with apparent proof. You may think you are hearing a familiar voice or seeing a recognizable face, but the attacker is using synthetic media to make the request feel real. Indicators can include odd timing, unusual phrasing, unnatural pauses, mismatched facial movement, strange background details, or a request that seems out of character. The deepest warning sign is still the requested action. If the voice or video asks for money, access, secrecy, or a process bypass, verification matters more than recognition. Urgency is one of the most common indicators across social engineering. Attackers want you to act before your careful thinking catches up. A message may claim that your account will be closed today, your package will be returned, your paycheck will be delayed, your device is infected, or a customer deal will fail unless you respond immediately. Urgency is not automatically malicious, because real work sometimes has deadlines. The danger comes when urgency is paired with fear, secrecy, or a request to ignore normal steps. You can train yourself to notice the physical feeling of being rushed. When a message makes you feel like you must act instantly, pause and ask what the sender gains from that pressure. Real security processes usually allow verification. Real business emergencies usually still have accountable communication paths. An attacker benefits when you believe that speed is more important than proof. Authority pressure is another major indicator. People are taught to respond to leaders, experts, officials, and support personnel. Attackers use that habit by pretending to be someone with power or special knowledge. A caller may say they are from the fraud team and need your code. An email may appear to come from an executive and demand immediate action. A message may claim that legal consequences will follow if you do not comply. The pressure may be polite or aggressive, but the goal is the same. The attacker wants you to stop evaluating the request and start obeying the role. You can respect authority while still verifying instructions. A legitimate leader, auditor, or technician should not need you to violate policy, share passwords, approve unknown access, or hide the action from others. When authority and secrecy appear together, treat that combination as a serious warning. Unusual requests are often easier to spot than fake identities. You may not be able to prove immediately whether a message came from the real sender, but you can often tell whether the request fits normal behavior. A coworker who usually uses a ticketing system suddenly asks for access through a personal text. A vendor who has used the same payment process for years suddenly sends new banking details. A help desk caller asks for your multi-factor authentication, MFA, code instead of guiding you through a normal support process. A manager asks you to move fast and avoid telling anyone. Each request might be wrapped in a believable story, but the action still stands out. When you notice that mismatch, do not argue with the attacker and do not click around to investigate from inside the suspicious message. Move to a known trusted channel and confirm independently. Manipulated trust is what ties these techniques together. The attacker may manipulate trust in a brand, a person, a process, a device, a familiar voice, or a familiar routine. A bank logo can create trust. A coworker name can create trust. A QR code on a professional-looking sign can create trust. A voice that sounds like your manager can create trust. Good security judgment means you separate appearance from evidence. You ask whether the request fits the normal process, whether the channel is expected, whether the timing makes sense, and whether the action creates risk. You also pay attention when a message tries to isolate you. Phrases that push you to keep something quiet, avoid normal review, or handle it personally are trying to cut you away from the very checks that protect you. Social engineering becomes weaker when you bring the request back into the open. A practical way to handle a suspicious interaction is to slow down without escalating the situation unnecessarily. You do not need to accuse anyone. You can pause, avoid clicking, avoid scanning, avoid sharing codes, and verify through a separate method you already trust. If a bank message arrives by text, use the bank's normal app or a known phone number. If an executive appears to request a payment change, use the established approval path. If a help desk caller asks for sensitive information, contact support through the normal internal process. If a QR code appears in a strange place, do not assume the printed sign is legitimate. If a voice or video request feels unusual, verify with another trusted person or channel. The habit is simple but powerful. Do not let the message choose the verification path for you, because the attacker will always choose the path they control. Social engineering defense is not about becoming suspicious of every person you meet or every message you receive. It is about learning the patterns that appear when someone is trying to rush, pressure, confuse, isolate, or impersonate you into making a mistake. Smishing uses mobile messages. Vishing uses voice. Whaling targets high-value people and decisions. Quishing hides the destination behind a QR code. Deepfakes use synthetic media to make false trust feel real. Phishing and spear phishing use deceptive messages that may be broad or highly targeted. Across all of them, the indicators remain familiar: urgency, authority pressure, unusual requests, secrecy, unexpected channels, requests for credentials, payment changes, verification codes, and manipulated trust. When you recognize those signs, you give yourself time to think. That pause may be enough to stop an attacker before the technical attack ever begins.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit BareMetalCyber.com.